Today's guest is someone who believes true transformation begins within, especially in childhood and parenting. She is the founder of AIKYA, the Oneness program, an author, parenting coach, and wellness mentor who has worked with thousands of individuals across the world on emotional healing, consciousness, and holistic growth. I'm your host, Shruti Sharma, and today I'm joined in on a special podcast with Meheck Mukherjee, who's the transformation coach. Welcome, Meheck.
Thank you, Shruti, for such a wonderful introduction. And it's late in the evening. I just hope that we are able to bring the message that we are choosing to today.
I'm sure, Meheck. So, before we start, when we say about transformation coach, in very little words, if you could just explain what exactly it means for our viewers.
Transformation means change, simple words. What do we need to change? What do we wish to change is the frequency that we are at. When we are at lower frequencies, we function from blame, guilt, regret, pain, frustration, anger. The daily things that happen, the system that we are living in, the conditioning that we have in our society triggers us towards angry moments, towards frustration. When you raise your frequency, when you transform that energy from within, then and only then can you live in a holistic manner, be able to communicate rather than fight your way through, prove your way through, and live a life which is deeply, contributive to self as well as to others.
Right, Meheck. Now, going forward, when we talk about conscious parenting, it's a word that everybody knows. But besides the buzzword, when you talk about this thing in everyday life, what does it actually mean?
There's another word that I use synonymously with conscious parenting. It's called mindless parenting.
Okay.
We have been trained to do a lot of mindfulness. Too much attention. And do you know what the mind is? The mind, the ego mind, the mind that brings or functions from fear. I would love parents to begin to function without fear, without their mind, mindlessly, effortlessly, functioning from true love. A lot of parents think that, oh, I love my child, and then they condition the child. The carrot and stick, constantly pushing them into a system which is going to drive them towards motivational factors, towards proving themselves, towards never being their true essence. Like every child, don't forget, is a soul. And we Indians know this more than anyone else. A lot of foreign countries don't even know that what the soul is. We talk about the Atman. Your child may be 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, but the soul might be thousands of years old. The soul is on its journey, has come with its wisdom, has its own lessons in this lifetime. We don't forget that, even if it's a small size. So mindless parenting is actually effortless, where you're not putting too much effort into training the child, too much effort into trying to be a right version. There is no right version. And because there is no right version, there is no wrong version. Which simply means that anything you do or anything your child does is not wrong.
So was there a moment in your life or an experience that actually made you think that, whatever you experience or whatever you deal with in childhood shapes your adulthood?
Oh, it was not one moment. It was so many moments while I was coaching adults. And I have coached people from all sorts of countries, different cultures, different language, systems, different belief systems. And every time I am talking to them about their adult issues, whatever they are facing in at work, in body health, in relationships, every time we are addressing that, we are going back to childhood. What happened when you were 3 years old? What happened when you were 2 years old? And that's the whole concept of inner child healing, and there are lots of modalities that talk about it. And every time that an adult has an issue or goes for therapy, who are we healing? We are healing the inner child. So it was not one moment, it was always there. Every moment with every client would take me to the childhood, which made me write this book, which led me to this book, that actually seems on the surface that it is about conscious parenting, but it is actually about healing your inner child. Looking at what went wrong. Where did you fall into that I am wrong? And that unhealed self is perpetrating and getting transferred to your children as unhealed versions of them.
So, Choices and Voices of Children, 100 Ways to be a Conscious Parent. This is a book by Meheck Mukherjee. This is the book that she's written, and there's a lot gone into it. So, let's talk about this book a little, and if you could just tell us what made you write this book, and what was the thought process when you were writing it, and who is it really for?
It's for every person who's ever been a child.
Okay.
Yeah, because most people think that I have to fix my child. So I'm very sorry to say, parents, and this is to 99% of parents, you have to fix yourself, not your child. Because the moment your child is a reflection of you, if you are looking into a mirror, will you fix the mirror or you'll fix yourself? You make your hair and you look good in the mirror, right? So you have to fix that version of you which is being reflected by the child. Between the age of 0 to 4, the child largely reflects the mother. Between 4 to 8, the child largely reflects the father. So all behaviors, tantrums, illnesses, issues are related to those parents in those different age groups.
So, honestly, I wanted to ask you one question is that, every individual has had their own experience when they were a child.
Yeah.
So, how do you get down all of them on the same page that you're talking about, that, inner healing, parenting, because everyone's got different experience in their life, in their childhood for that matter. You can't be making them the same adults and make them come on the same platform, because you learn from your experiences. How you become is because you've experienced something or some things in your childhood. So how does that work is what I wanted to understand.
So Shruti, let me tell you this, that you have something called as a brain, right? And you have a mind. Any experience that a parent has, it goes and gets stored in certain neural pathways or forms synapses.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, when that adult who has this unhealed self hidden in his subconscious mind becomes a parent, on the outset, he feels that, oh, now I'm going to give my child everything that I didn't have. I will not let my child suffer the way I had. And what plays in the background in the subconscious mind is all his unhealed trauma. Now, while the parent is constantly protecting the child from what? From his unhealed self. At the same time, his subconscious mind is projecting an image, and that image is the unhealed trauma. And that child non-verbally, it's not verbally induced in the child, non-verbally receives that unhealed trauma, plays it out, like actually enacts it like an actor on stage. Now this parent looks at that unhealed trauma and he remembers, which is stored in his subconscious mind and maybe even covered with lots and lots of layers, that unhealed trauma within him, which triggers the parent. And the parent scolds the child that don't do this. Why? Because he has done that thing, that mistake, and has suffered. So he doesn't want the child to suffer. So that protector ego or the fixer ego and the projection, they work simultaneously. So on one side, the parent is the protector, and on the other side, the parent is the one which is inducing this. So there is a duality that's happening. Because of this duality, that instance or that abuse or that trauma is perpetrating. For anything to exist in this reality, it has to have a dual perspective. There has to be a right and a wrong side, a good and a bad side. And when both these sides are existing, that particular instance manifests in our reality.
So Meheck, you worked with quite a many individuals globally. And, what I wanted to ask you is that, one emotional trauma or one emotion that is common between all of them, among all of them. I mean, it could be like, and I'm not talking about here as a parent, for parents. I'm talking about particularly about parents, one
Individuals.
Yeah. And, one emotional that you've seen that, this is a pattern that's like with everyone.
Which is there with everyone.
Yeah. So what is it that you've kind of figured
It's there
out?
with everyone. Need to prove. And who do we need to prove ourselves to? Not to ourselves. To our fathers, to our mothers, mostly to fathers.
I mean, what makes you say that?
Because constantly you have this thing that I am not enough. I have to make my father proud. Because I want that little tap on my back. And that drives me throughout my life. That someday my dad will see me, or rather see himself. And this is, when you look at the core, is the issue of the divine masculine, which constantly feels that he has not been enough in this world, not manifested himself as the totality of himself, as everything he wanted to create. See, the divine masculine is the energy of creation, of bringing into this reality whatever he wanted to bring as his soul. And mostly the unhealed self overpowers this creation. And then that trauma perpetrates across generations. Like, same thing that the father wanted to prove himself, then the son also wants to prove himself, that even the daughter wants to prove herself. And if you look out into this reality, like anyone around you, whether it's a big celebrity or it's a simple layman working in a corporate office, you go and ask them this question. They'll all say that, I want to make my dad happy, I want to make my mom happy. So it's a perpetrated generational trauma that goes on.
Okay, so coming back to this book only, so what is it that, that's gone into it, and what is it that we'll get after reading it? Who should actually be reading this, and how do we implement it? What tell us about the book?
Everyone should read it who knows how to read English.
Okay.
And if they don't know to read English, there is an Audible, so they can listen to it.
So 100 ways to be a conscious parent.
Yeah.
What do we mean by conscious parent when we say conscious
Someone who can parent.
Okay.
And it could be a parent, it could be a grandparent, it could be an elder brother or elder sister. It could be, you parenting the neighbor's child.
So is it a parenting book? No or yes?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Because you are parenting yourself also all the time. As an adult, even if your parents have passed away, there's a voice that comes in your head. Whenever you do something, don't do this, something wrong will happen, or good job, even that goes on, right? Whose voice is that?
Okay.
Yeah, because you are parenting yourself all the time. So that voice needs to change, and that will change only when whatever was unhealed within you heals. And this book does a brilliant job at that.
And why are we calling it Choices and Voices of Children?
Don't you ever feel that I wished to do something and I didn't do it? I was not allowed.
Okay.
All of us have that moment.
Yeah.
That I wanted to do this, but I was not allowed. My choice was not respected. And I did not have the voice to say what I wanted.
Okay.
So, choices and voices of children. I have goosebumps right now.
I'm sure.
Because whether we like it or not, the most beautiful thing in this world is choice. Like, if you had a choice, what would you really be? Yeah. And a lot of people who have accepted life as what it is, and acceptance is largely perpetrated in this reality, which is a perpetration of trauma by religious groups, by gurus, by mentors and all. Just accept your reality and move ahead. I would say don't accept. Look within. Healing is very powerful, very easy, very quick. Healing doesn't take lifetimes. In fact, lifetimes of trauma can be healed in few seconds.
Now, that was what actually the next question. You know, when you talk about healing and, you know, looking into what had gone, how would you heal yourself? Is there a timeline to it also?
Healing takes a few seconds if you know the right methods.
Okay.
If you know how to be in pure presence. If you're just in pure presence with that unhealed self, with that unhealed inner child, it takes a few seconds for it to dissipate and dissolve. And the moment that dissipates and dissolves, your whole reality changes. Professions change, relationships change, health changes, everything changes. And almost all of my work, whether it is in AIKYA, the oneness program, whether it is in therapy sessions, is about bringing the person to pure presence. And that is what shows the magic.
Cool. Now, since you mentioned AIKYA, so, you know, you're the founder of AIKYA Oneness Program. For somebody who's hearing this word for the first time, what exactly does it mean? If you could just break it down for them. If you could just explain what AIKYA is
It's
all
about looking at the trauma that is within you, the pain that is within you, maybe a relationship that was, unfinished, maybe a physical body issue, maybe a money issue, or a deep grief that is stuck in you. Looking at it from a non-dual awareness, that is, what was the good in it, what was the bad in it, what it came as and what it gave you. And then bringing it to collapse so that you can see it as 360-degree awareness. Now, what is 360-degree awareness? We look at things from a single-minded focus. So if I see something with red glasses, I'll see the picture red. If I see it with green glasses, I'll see the picture green. And that partial vision gives us partial knowing, which gives us the pain and the trauma. Now, when you look at this trauma with 360-degree awareness, you are able to see how you created it and what was its role in your life journey. And when you're able to see that and dissipate that, then a different possibility opens up for you. Different doors open up for you. A lot of people think that, oh, this is my passion. I love doing this. It could be music, it could be art, it could be sales, it could be anything. Creative professions or logical professions or coding or whatever it is. Yeah. But trust me, if they show up in therapy and we look at the trauma from which they are stuck and they are creating that as passion, that could completely dissolve in a few seconds.
Oh, in seconds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what happens is, because there is that trauma, the passion shows up as the expression of that trauma.
The force shifts towards the passion.
Yeah.
Is what you're trying to say.
So we start seeing the beauty in it. And we start, the word is I can't get the word. What's that word? Brooding in that trauma only. Like music is a very good example. That there is deep grief and you keep creating music and keep singing, keep writing, but you don't address the grief. The moment you'll address the grief, you'll no more feel like, writing poetry or making music out of it. So all your creative expressions are a manifestation and expression of trauma.
Cool. So now, if you talk about parents today, they're very overprotective, they're very overambitious, and if I put it in the right word, maybe they're overwhelmed for that matter.
Yeah.
So, why is that so? If it is at all, as per your POV, is what I want to understand. And what is it that you want to say to those kind of parents?
I think I answered this before, but I'll say it again, that the parent is protecting the child, or rather his own unhealed self.
Yeah.
And deep down there is hurt.
Okay.
So that duality is existing. The overwhelm is towards himself. But who is at the effect of it are the children.
Kids.
Yeah. Parents do not realize that they are the first abusers of the child. And the only way that a parent may choose to not abuse the child is to work on themselves, to resolve the unhealed trauma.
So Meheck, how would one understand that, you are at a right place now, that is, we're not abusing the kid anymore, and we are at that stage that, okay, I know it all.
The book has all your answers,
Okay.
or rather all the questions.
Okay.
And when I say all the questions, because when you function from answers, that you're looking for an answer, you're looking to justify your behavior and look for a fixed conclusion, while your actual solution is in the questions. When a parent begins to be objective with a child and be in a curious form, in a questioning form, not from reprimand but from true curiosity, knowing what the child is feeling, both the child and the parent heal.
So Meheck, tell me one thing. When you say that, parents need to heal themselves first and need to learn before they make their kid learn, don't you think that parents are at a stage where they're very stubborn to actually accept this fact that, what are you even saying? And when you reach certain age in terms of maturity, that you don't want to learn things, you don't accept things easily when you're mature. It takes time to understand. What about then? What about the parents who are on that page then? How do you go about explaining them?
Ideally, healing, non-dual awareness or Advait should be taught in school.
So this is what I wanted to understand. Now, when you say non-dual awareness, firstly, what exactly does that mean? And then why do you think that it should be start from
non-dual awareness means not flowing with the emotion, sitting with the emotion and seeing all aspects of it. So, for example, if somebody is going to a class and everybody is applauding, he gets appreciation or validation. It makes the child feel something. So he does not flow with it that, wow, I was appreciated, rewarded, but sits with that and feels everything that he is feeling. Because in another instance, when he is not appreciated, there might be opposite feelings. So there has to be a method where we can inculcate this in our schooling practice, which was there in the Gurukulams, which was replaced by the English, the British, and the English curriculum was introduced, which had no energy in it. So this is something that needs to be introduced at the school level. But now for individuals who are elders, who are not yet having children, it's high time you start working on yourself before your child arrives. And for parents who already have children, you have to work on it on a daily basis as a team with your child. In fact, it's easier for them because now they have a reflection. They know that whatever the child is showing is a reflection of their inner world. So they have an instant feedback system, if I have to say that, and they can grow together. So there is no right or wrong time to begin. You begin where you are. And that is best for you. If you are listening to this podcast now, it's time for you now. And it's I don't say it's an unending journey. It will end someday. When will it end? I do not know. It depends on your, your capacity to sit with yourself and your wish to heal, how much, कितनी शिद्दत से आप अपने ऊपर काम करते हो, बहुत important है.
So you say healing can improve, most of the things when you talk about relationships, ultimately business, even money and health. So how connected are these areas really, if we
completely. All of it is all connected to each other.
Let's just join the dots then.
Okay, so if you understand the core of duality as humans is the masculine and the feminine, okay, and there is an unhealed masculine and an unhealed feminine, and the healed version is the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And each of us, it's not like there is a male and a female. Each of us has the divine masculine and the divine feminine within. When both of these are balanced, you will be completely healed. And at that time, maybe you will have this kundalini rising, you will have balance in your whole world, you will be able to manifest whatever you are wishing to, your relationships will thrive, your body will be at its best health, your money will be in abundance, it will be in flow. It's not like you'll have crores of rupees in your wardrobes, in your banks, but your money will be in a state of flow. And it is not that someone who's very rich is healed or the poor are not. I have seen people who are not very rich, very much healed, and I have seen the richest of people who are having autoimmune disorders and not able to heal themselves. What is an autoimmune disorder? An autoimmune disorder is something which is attacking your own immune system, where there is a continuous bombardment of that same trauma again and again and again. Yeah, maybe across lifetimes, maybe through an unhealed version of their parents, or there could be so many combinations. So when you balance your divine masculine and divine feminine within, you are in a complete healed state. And money is connected to relationships, is connected to body is connected to your physical health as well as your emotional health, which is of course going to affect your relationships.
So somebody who's going to be hearing this podcast, would have an obvious question. I'm talking from the viewer's POV. Obviously, I'll be at peace when I follow for whatever you've been saying, but there'll be a certain pressure also on me. How do I deal with that, or how do they deal with that?
I have a very easy solution for people, and by God's grace, I have been gifted with this. I do these guided meditations every single day.
Okay.
And you can join them. The first 3 days is a gift. And what I do is I balance your inner world, in simple words. And we do a lot of quantum healing and enter your cellular memory, which is carrying the imprints from lifetimes, generations, ancestors. All of it is stored in your blueprint, and we start healing that trauma from there. And once that happens, grief of lifetimes, pains, body issues, everything begins to dissolve. You start feeling more and more balanced within you. And I believe that's like the easiest way to heal in today's world.
So there's another book that we're going to be talking about. You Are a Gift, a very nice name given to a book. Just
because you
feels,
are.
yeah, it feels very special by itself when you read it. That really. So that's another one that's written by Meheck Mukherjee, and this is called You Are a Gift. What is this one all about? If you could just tell us, and why this title for the book?
So this is about realizing the gift that you are. That you have chosen to take this embodiment, chosen to take this body, come experience this reality, this earth as it is, even with the pollution, yeah, and even with the beauty in nature, and acknowledge that there is a lot of gifts that you are here to bring to the planet. But in our routine life, in this drudgery that we have, we forget that what we are here for. And take that moment and sit with yourself and experience yourself, even in this crazy world where we are running after things constantly. So even if you sit with your tea, your cup of coffee, and read 2 lines from this.
So I can see that various chapters to it that actually talks about various things. They all are interconnected, or are these different? How do we go about
I would say
reading
these are
it?
different states of mind that people go through at different stages in their life.
Okay.
And at whatever stage you are in, and if you are feeling that something is not working or something is amiss within me, something in this book, some 2 lines in this book is going to heal you.
Okay.
So this is a energized book, very powerful book for anyone who is going through any sadness. It's a great gift to your loved ones.
So that's,
you can't reach a therapist, get this.
So You're a Gift is the book by Meheck Mukherjee. This is the one that we just spoke about. And moving on, Meheck, you must have had a lot of workshops that must be happening, coaching people, meeting people. What is it that personally you have kind of experienced, and what is it that you think that, it's not just you giving them, but it's you also learning from them? Personally, what is it that this all has taught you as a person?
So in the life of any coach, we begin with healing ourselves, and while we are helping our clients, we see a reflection of ourselves also in the clients. And after a point, a stage comes where you realize that that things within you have completely healed, and you are now here to contribute to the people from all that you know. And by God's grace, I'm there now, and I'm here to contribute to people. But yes, in my journey of teaching, healing, speaking to a lot of people, I did see a lot of reflections of inner child trauma, where I was not given choice. Like today, there's something, I was talking to somebody. I wear 100% linen today. I do recollect very clearly when I was a little child, I would go shopping and I would always pick up natural fabric. But I would be corrected or maybe wronged that don't take this because it's more difficult to maintain. Let's pick something which is easy to wash, easy to iron, easy to wear. Yeah, not realizing that these synthetic fabrics are actually harmful for our body. Not only for our body, because our skin, the microplastics leach into the skin, but also to your energy, because your energy frequency that we talk about, the whole conversation is about raising your frequency. The frequency of our body deteriorates or falls down the moment we are wearing polyester. Yeah, just even if you imagine, forget even wearing, if you imagine someone who is in pure silk, who is in pure cotton, pure linen, and then you see someone who is wearing nylon, what does it make you feel? Or you go and dress in a pure linen fabric, and you go and dress in a polyester, go and see what it makes you feel within. Like, go to a trial room, you don't even have to buy it, and you will realize that there is an energy in that fabric.
I'm going to get some shopping done for myself now and change into linen clothes. The first thing I'm going to do after I finish up this podcast. Then.
Yeah.
Cool.
So if I have to share with you an experience, a time came in 2022 where I had 2 whole wardrobes and I could not wear any of those clothes.
Oh, really?
I was wearing only 4 dresses. A whole year went by. I thought I'm depressed. I had also lost my husband in that same year. So I really thought that I'm going through grief. And although I was so much healed, yet I felt something is really wrong. Why am I not wearing clothes? A person who's so fond of dressing up, and I'm not wearing anything. And one day during meditation, I was guided that there is something about the frequency that you're not getting. And then when I went and researched, I realized Linen has a frequency of 5,000 hertz. 5,000 hertz is the unit of frequency. And that's why it's called the fabric of the gods.
Oh.
And wool also has a frequency of 5,000, and it's at the opposite spectrum, but it is 5,000. Whereas cotton has a frequency of 100 hertz, which is the same as the human body. And all your polyesters, nylons, microplastic fabrics that you have, poly anything, yeah, polyvinyl, poly, whatever you call it, is at a frequency of 15, which is the frequency of a dead body.
Oh my.
Yeah. So what are you doing with your bodies? And if you go back into history and see, our ancestors would not wear polyesters. Polyesters was introduced. This topic is not about that, but I would love you to go and research for yourself. Why it was introduced, when it was introduced, by whom it was introduced, and what was the real purpose. And then go back and change it. Because you are being fooled and you are being controlled in ways beyond you can imagine. It's not just about parenting, it's about the society that is being controlled at large. So we need to change these things. And I, as a child, I used to like natural fabrics. But because of money, like when you said, how is this, connected? Every purchase you make, you think of money, you think of ease, you think of, how it will make my life easier. In the yearning to make your life easier, are you making your life more difficult? That's a question you need to ask. You're inviting sickness in your bodies. So you need to look at that.
That's quite an eye-opener, I must say. So I'm going to wrap it up with just two more questions to go. The first one obviously is, when you try to heal parents, trying to explain them or trying to, try to make them understand the whole thing. In that journey, do you even, have you experienced parents that they slack, it's not happening, we can't do it anymore, and what is this? Have you experienced those kind of things as well? See, and how do you manage it if you ever have?
I don't see people as parents or children. I see them as individuals first. Okay. And every individual comes with some pain point. So when they are in that pain point, they definitely want to heal it. They are very willing. What I do see is that after a point, when they want to not go further into the healing, because it's very deep, right? When they have some fear that if I do this, I will lose something. They might lose their jobs, or actually it's a fear of change. It's not a fear of losing a job or a relationship. It's a fear of change, and which almost everyone has, and a fear of the unknown. And if you are with the right coach, the coach can help you maneuver that very easily. But a lot of coaches lose people at that point when they are not able to help them to go beyond it.
Okay, and to wrap this up, what I want to ask you is that, if an individual, we're not going to pick parents this time, is feeling disconnected to themselves, they're watching this podcast with you, what is that one thing that you would tell them that you should start doing from now itself? So any words of wisdom from your end to our viewers?
So I would say reconnect with nature, go back to nature, go breathe, go and sit in the grass barefoot and breathe. Lie down. If you don't know any breath work, just lie down, no problem. If you like water, go float. Don't try to swim, prove anything. Don't try to run. Just lie down. Let those feelings emerge and let them go. Allow them. Don't try to control those feelings. If you're angry, go shout. Yell out everything till there's nothing left. So just don't control yourself. That's the only thing I would say.
Sure, Meheck. On that note, thank you very much. It's been a very genuine and a powerful conversation indeed, and an eye-opener for not just me and quite a many others who are watching this podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Shruti. Thank you for having me.
So, well, that was Meheck Mukherjee, the transformation coach, who actually, brought such clarity to topics people often feel but rarely talk openly about. So that's all about in this podcast. This is your host, Shruti Sharma, signing off.